Hey, this is the Rhino for Survival Skills 101. I am the Chuck Norris of survival. Okay, I'm not the Chuck Norris of survival. You know, he's the Chuck Norris of survival. I mean, he's Chuck Norris, man. Well, anyway, today I'm talking to you about a very confusing subject, but one you need to know for self-defense: handgun calibers. Let's rock this. You know, calibers can be very confusing for the novice shooter. This is something that you're going to need to know, and I'm going to try to break this down and make it as easy on you as possible. The bullet is the front part of this round. This is called a round. The whole thing is a round. The front part is a bullet. Now, caliber refers to the diameter or the circular width of the front part of this bullet. However, that's not the only thing that you're going to need to know when shooting, because the casing plays a huge role in it, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. Now, this is measured, the bullet is measured in either millimeters or English calibers. Now, they take out inches and put calibers, so understand. So we have calibers or we have millimeters, 9 millimeter or 40 caliber. That's how it's designated. And you know what? It depends on what round you're talking about for millimeters and for calibers. Some calibers are made for revolvers, and some calibers are made for semi-auto handguns. You know, when we talk about the rounds, we're talking about caliber. However, there are a lot of rounds that have the same diameter of bullet on the front of it, but the casing is just a little longer or smaller, depending. And an example of this might be a 380 versus a 9 millimeter. A 380 just has a smaller caliber or smaller casing, but has the same caliber of ammo on the front of it. And that's something that you're going to need to know. And there are a lot of examples of this when we're looking at different calibers, whether they're inches or they're millimeters. So when you're looking into caliber, you need to know, basically, a lot of rounds have the same kind of bullet on it. However, the casing is just a lot different. Now, here's another example for you. I could talk to you about, say, a 10 millimeter versus this 40 caliber round. A 10 millimeter and the 40 caliber have the same diameter of bullet, believe it or not. However, the casing on the 10 millimeter just happens to be longer, so they won't fit in the same gun. So when you're doing your research on handgun ammo, just understand a lot of times that casing is going to be the difference when we're talking about caliber. Let's talk about the designation that comes after, say, 40 caliber. So it'd be 40 caliber S&W, or 45 ACP, or 9 millimeter Luger. You hear those all the time. And what that designation is first of all, it designates the size of the casing, but it also designates who was the person or company that first invented that round. So if we're talking about 45 ACP or automatic Colt pistol cartridge, 40 Smith & W would be the Smith & Wesson company, or a 9 millimeter Luger would refer to George Luger, who is the person who invented that particular round. However, 9 millimeter comes in different sizes. So you could have a 9 millimeter Kurtz, which is different from the 9 millimeter Luger. So Kurtz means short, and Luger is a bigger size. So don't want to confuse you, but you need to understand when someone says 9 millimeter Luger, it's really the size of that casing and the charge of that powder, not necessarily the bullet. So we have the 9 millimeter bullet, but the Luger part will represent the casing. And this is what you got to know when you're talking about handguns, so you can find the right handgun ammo to fit in the gun that you have. There you go, handgun calibers for beginners. That's a tough subject, but I think you got it. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe. For Survival Skills 101, I'm the Rhino. Are you prepared to look forward?